I've been climbing over half my life. And in that time, I've climbed in some amazing places. And I've climbed with some interesting individuals. But through all those years and all those adventures, there's always one thing that is still a constant for me. And that thing is my dad. From the first time I ever went climbing, my dad has been my constant. From that first time when we kind of got hooked on this whole sport, my dad was there for me. And it was something that neither of us had ever really had any experience in, so we really went into it not as father and son almost, but as equals, with the same amount of experience and kind of learning at the same pace and really bonding over that. Climbing has always been that bonding experience. If there's one thing I had to look at or look back on and point to, it would obviously be climbing.
Alright, now I'll let you know. Ready? Sure, why not?
As far as my dad and I bonding and just growing as a father and a son. And I guess I'm really glad for that. It's something that I look back on so fondly now as I look back over these years. And it's something that I miss terribly. The time that him and I spent out climbing. It was something that he really delighted in. Not just so much the aspect of climbing, but just the time we spent together. And not only the time we spent together, but really the time we spent together introducing climbing to other people. Some of the best memories with my dad are him and I taking out groups of people who had never been climbing before and really, showing them what it was to climb.
That's it.
Come on. There you go.
Keep pulling.
Keep going.
It's not all about, how strong you are or how athletic you are. It's more of just this ability to get out into nature and really experience it in a different way than you normally would. And I think that's something my dad understood well. And he did so well to teach it to me at times when I was so focused on how strong I could be or how much I could accomplish.
You had the right idea. You got to get your hands up there and just start pulling. And
Yeah. Once you get your foot on top of that one handle you're on.
My dad was always this kind of grounding force, something that would bring you back and, help you get a view of the bigger picture. The climbing wasn't about how strong you were or how well you could actually even climb. But it was definitely about sharing it with others. And those are some of the best memories I have with my dad. Days spent out climbing, days spent with him, time spent teaching others how to climb and how to enjoy it the way that him and I did. When I find myself stressed or sad or just in need of a break, I'll close my eyes. And when I close my eyes, what I think of or what I picture in my mind are the times that him and I spent on top of that cliff line overlooking that prairie. It was this kind of quiet place. Even though we had a group of people down below us, that 60-foot of cliff line was just enough to kind of block out the rest of the world. And it was just him and I up there with the wind. And in those moments, there wasn't really ever a lot we said to each other. I think it was kind of an unspoken father and son thing that really, there wasn't much that had to be spoken. We both knew how we felt about each other. And we both knew how much we loved each other. And looking back, I think I know that we knew how much those times meant. And I'm glad that it's something I have to look back on, that it's something I can close my eyes and picture so vividly in my mind still to this day. And I still sit on top of those same cliff tops. I guess the only difference is that he's not there with me anymore. And that's really tough to deal sometimes. I know that every time I've been out there since he passed away, I find myself on top of that cliff, looking out over that prairie. It just reminds me how much I miss him. But I guess the silver lining to that is I'm still out there doing what he loved. I'm still out there teaching people to climb, showing them what climbing is, and showing them, how much you can really enjoy just being outside, spending time with others, and really sharing with others. Because that's what it was. It wasn't about climbing. It was about sharing with others and spending time with others. And just helping other people grow. As I look back on it, really, some of my favorite climbing memories aren't about hard routes that I climbed or things I achieved. Really, my greatest memories are always going to be my time spent with my dad, doing what we love best, which was sharing climbing with others. To take that passion that we had for what we were doing and to kind of give other people a taste of it. We didn't want to be greedy. We wanted to definitely take and share what we had. And man, my dad was good at it. The way his face lit up when someone got to get their first taste of climbing. And I think he could tell, just by the look in their eyes, how much they had enjoyed it. Man, I have countless pictures of of so many different people and families that we met through climbing. People that weren't even climbers, people that we met hiking on the trails, and people that we offered, a chance to climb. The same way that we got into climbing all those years ago. The small act of kindness, just as an offer of, hey, would you like to climb? And, to know what that did for me all those years ago. And I can't help but wonder if, my dad and I impacted somebody the same way that we were impacted. That our generosity and our willingness to share and not be greedy with, the things we had, hopefully, carried on to someone else. I guess in a way I'll never know, but also in that same way I absolutely know that if it impacted us that way, that it must have impacted others in some way like that. And I guess that's kind of the legacy that my dad and I share. And even now that he's gone, it's that legacy that lives on. And it's something that I definitely try to carry on. It's something I definitely don't shy away from. And like I said, it's tough. Every time I go out climbing, I'm reminded of him. Every day I wake up, I'm reminded of him. And it's something I found that instead of shying away from or hiding away from to try to lessen the pain of his loss, I found that it's better to embrace it. To meet it head on and to not be bashful. To be open with people and to share in his legacy and tell stories about him and I. And even though that's something that hurts sometimes, I know that in the long run, it's what I need to do. And it's something I don't think I'm ever going to stop doing. It's something that I hope to someday take and pass on to my sons. I hope that someday I can sit atop that cliff with them and share those same quiet moments, just like my dad and I did.